Howdy y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is AR Cavley, and we're going to complete what must be the finale for the adventures of a ship called Wanda. It's been a couple of weeks. When we left off, Giovanni had gone to confront, to try to take care of Luke, who had been driven out of the Wanda because he was trying to get the rest of the crew to convince them to go ahead and continue with the mission so that they could get paid. Unfortunately for Giovanni, Luke got the drop on him as well due to some initiative rolls and some range determination. Luke was able to essentially rush out of the bush and murder Giovanni with his spear. So Giovanni has degraded mentally. Some of this was actually put together just with the oracles, because his first traps were mechanical. They used ship things, and then as time went on, he basically just did jump scares and stabbed people to death. So, I have taken that to mean that he is not less cunning necessarily, but less technical. He is more likely to figure out the best way to ambush somebody and physically attack them than he is to, set a vehicle on fire or overload the batteries to make it explode or something like that. And he used that cunning and put his spear through Giovanni's skull. And as he has degraded, as his mind has gone, he's taken to speaking kindly to Giovanni's body as he sliced him up, and then promising that he wouldn't let either one of them be left behind. He lashed a tow strap around Giovanni's neck, put it on the back of the ATV, and headed towards the ship. In the ship, the ladies are working feverishly to get the bridge back in working order. And while they're doing that, Rosemary is standing watch outside the observation blister. These room 6 is their observation blisters. Normally they could pull up some external views, but since Alicia and Penelope are working on things, they've got things powered down. So they've just got they've got the doc looking out the observation blister with some binoculars. And as they're waiting, I think this is probably a good time to maybe do a spotlight or a reaction roll, especially on Rosemary. She's the one who at this point, because all she's doing is waiting. The other two are at least working on something. They've got something going on. So we're going to have her do a reaction roll. And she does have liaison, but in this case, I don't think it's going to affect. So just a social roll to see how she's dealing with things, how she's working out. Okay, so not so great. Not so great. So she fails her roll, so we're going to take a look and see how exactly that's going to manifest itself. All right, so I'm going to head down to 69 and page 69. This is actually page 70. And we're going to see what she does. How does she deal with a 1? So 1 on our table. She seeks solace. She's overcome by guilt, fear, or loneliness, or remorse. Drugs or alcohol may be used, but not necessarily. But, she, as we found out in a previous episode, she has a stim problem. So I think that means as she's waiting, she can't take it anymore. So she, instead of manning her station, she heads down to the medical bay. And she takes a quick peek up the passage, makes sure that no one is watching, and she rummages through her stash of stems that she has behind there. And she has behind some of the medical books. She pops open the ampule, puts it in her arm, and let's see. Does she feel the need for another one? I'm going to give her an endurance roll to see if she is able to overcome her desire to get another one. If my window will stop moving around. Oh, nope. All right, she is really freaking out. One's not enough. So she pops another one. Ah. And I'm going to say that there's a pretty good chance, because the other two are working, she's in the back getting high. I think there's a pretty good chance that they don't notice Luke coming up, dragging the body behind. Let's see. I'm going to say only on a 5 or a 6 that she gets back to her spot. Okay. All right. So she does manage to, she stumbles down the passage. She gets back there just in time to possibly see. She may still miss. He may drive out of view. So I'm going to give her an intellect. And because she is kind of, stems are supposed to make you sharper, but that's not really what she's doing with them. She's kind of, she's, she's getting high instead. So does she manage to see him? Nope. So she stumbles to the portal. It's open to the observation blister. It's open, and she is focused like a laser on something in the sky, just something that she's focused on. A moon, maybe a bird. She doesn't even know. There's just something in the sky, and she's focused on it. And the noise doesn't get through the hole, and she doesn't see Luke drive by. He goes under. Let's see. He is, like I said, he's kind of degraded. I don't know. They have all the hatches locked. I don't know that he's in a position, or if there's something that he could actually do that could interfere with the launch, or if there is that he might know. Um, I'm going to say it's not very. I'm going to say it's not very likely that with what he has, that he could interfere, um, especially with his mind in the state that it's in. Um, Now it's possible that there may be some kind of interlock switch on the landing gear, where if it's disabled or busted, it won't allow the engines to fire for fear of causing structural damage. The F-14s have something like that, and they have like a weight on wheel and weight off wheel indicator. Like I said, he's not technical, but he is cunning. So I have an idea of something that he's going to try. But I'm going to use the oracles, the theme oracles, as an inspiration to see to see if he has a better idea than I do. Okay. So let's see, he's on the surface. I'll do a surface and then action. Surface and then action. Okay, a 3 and a 3. And a 4 and a 6. So 3 and a 3. Okay, on the surface, it's a landmark. And the action of 4 and 6. Hold. Okay, so he's going to hold a landmark. And it's not really gelling at this. Well, kind of. So what he's going to do, I'm gonna go with my original idea, and we'll see how that turns out. See if that does anything helpful or interesting to the story. So he pulls the ATV unchallenged beneath the ship. He's going to take. He's assuming that nobody has seen him. He's going to take Giovanni and he's going to dump him over the ATV right next to the access ramp, and he's going to step back out of range. He's going to go lay prone in his best cover as he can, and he's going to, in his best Giovanni impersonation, "Help me, help me." He's trying to make it sound like he's really hurt in hopes of covering up the fact that he doesn't necessarily do a good Giovanni. "Help me." And then he just sits and waits. So back on the ship, they of course hear the radio, and Alicia and Rosemary both are talking into their radios at the same time, trying to get him to speak again. Giovanni, is that you? Is that you? Where's that from? I don't know. I didn't see him, Rosemary says. So Alicia, she interrupts Penelope for a second, makes sure that it's okay to turn on some external cameras and route it over to this other station. And she clicks around. She goes to the different immediate external views, and she sees what's obviously Giovanni slouched over the ATV close to the ramp. She says, "Oh my God." Rosemary comes running in. "What is it? What is it?" "Oh no, we've got to go get him." Now Alicia is trying to click around to make sure that uh, the murderous crew member is obviously not very close, and he's far enough away because he kind of knows, even without having to use any kind of great technical thinking, he kind of knows how far away he needs to be, for the immediate cameras. Um, so he takes cover and he's just barely peeking around. Inside, he really would rather use his spear, but he's got the rifle. And he wonders what it'd be like to blow someone's head off. That would make sure that they didn't leave him behind. But he's not sure what's going to happen at all. They may not open the door at all. So he waits. Rosemary wants to open the door. She wants to rescue Giovanni. And of course, Alicia's like, "We don't even know he's alive." "Are you okay, Rosemary?" "What do you mean?" And she's got the she's got the now somewhat obvious tick of somebody who's maybe hyped up on some stims. "Did you go get stims?" "I was just tired. It's just to help me through the watch." "Did you even see him coming, Rosemary? Did you see him?" "No. He must have come when I was looking the other way." "Mean when you were shooting yourself up?" "Hey, fuck off, bitch." So Rosemary and Alicia are going to get into a... Let's see. They know that it's possible he's alive. I mean, he's on that thing. So let's see. I mean, he is their crewman. They don't want to. They don't see any immediate threat. They don't want to leave him. So they say, Alicia tells Penelope, "All right, go ahead. Keep working. Actually, watch the monitors. If you see anything, let us know on the radio." And Alicia and Rosemary are going to head to the ramp. We'll put poor dead Giovanni there. And we'll set our murderous crewman. We'll set him over here. And he's essentially aiming. He's ready to go. He's kind of covered himself up. He's ready to shoot somebody in the brain. Shoot somebody in the brain. So they argue for several minutes, and finally Penelope says that, "I don't see anybody. I don't see anything." "I don't think we should do this." Alicia does not want to do this. She thinks it's a trap. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a contest of wills between those two. Is it a confrontation? Okay, so Rosemary is going to actually try to convince Alicia to just open the ramp. "You just stay here and open the ramp. I'll grab him, and then we'll haul him off to medbay." And Alicia's like, "There's no way. He could be hanging right under the hole, getting ready to stab somebody in the face as soon as we open this thing up. We've got to help Giovanni. We've got to help him. Please, Alicia. Please." All right. So one character is trying to convince the other. Now, in this case, let's see, Rosemary. Okay, so she has less of a social. Oh, is it double? It might even be double. Let me look at our character sheets here. Okay, so her social is actually half, less than half, and so that gives her, if it's less than half, um, so that's a -2, and oh, but she does have liaison. Oh, liaison level 3, so that just kind of evens out. Um, so she actually knows with her uh, she has some psychology training, and she knows how to convince people, how to push their buttons. All right, so I'm just going to have it be a liaison roll, and give that modifier of -2 from the social difference. Can she make it? Does she convince her? Oh, look at that. All right, so excellent roll. Okay, so she knows, Rosemary knows that Alicia does not want to leave Giovanni. She knows this, and she plays to that. She plays to the teammate, the shipmates, and all of that is true. All of that is true, and the fact that she is now the captain, that Alicia is the captain, and now it's her job to try to take care of the crew as best. And Alicia, she taps her foot on the deck. She hits the intercom. Do we still look clear, Penny? Yeah, I don't see anything. All right. The ramp slowly lowers, and Luke starts taking aim, starts looking for something to take aim at. Alicia goes, go, go, go. Once they realize that Luke is not right there getting ready, and they both, I should say that they both have um, stunners with them as well. She runs down and she tries to haul him up. And that's going to be a strength roll, which she doesn't have the best. So okay, so not even close. Um, hurry up! I can't get him. So Alicia runs down, and Luke, now having two targets, draws a bead. He draws a bead as they are mostly not moving, trying to pull him up onto the ramp, to pull what they don't know just yet, the body of Giovanni up onto the ramp. Let's see. 1 through 3, it's Rosemary. 4, 5, or 6, it's Alicia. All right, so it's Rosemary. Let's open up Luke as he takes aim with the hunting rifle. Let's take a look. He's obviously not far enough away to where he would be out of range of that by any means. Hunting rifle. All right, so 3 die 6. Yeah, range, long, size 2. All right, so 3 die 6. That's mostly what I want to look up here. And then we'll take a look at combat. Combat's pretty simple. Shooting combat. I'm not going to roll initiative. He has the drop on them. I'm going to say he's hiding. They're distracted, trying to get the body up, struggling to get the body up. Let's see. So he's within. They're not in cover. Nothing like that. Let's see. I thought there was an aim. Okay. All right, so there's a squad combat on page 186. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. But I thought there was an aiming action. But I don't see it. So I'm certain that there is for the standard rules. But we're not playing standard rules. So it's just going to be a dexterity roll. Now they pretty much, I treat them all as having 0 level skill in firearms and brawling. He takes aim. He grins. He mutters softly to his rifle. And he fires. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, had a little bit of a technical issue there. So Luke has drawn almost perfect aim, selecting selecting Rosemary, and he squeezed the trigger, the rifle. I'm going to go ahead and add the effect just because. All right. Oh, so that's 13 plus 4. So her endurance is down to 0. Wow, even with that, she's still. I didn't realize she was. So that's 17. That's going to be down to 0. Oops. 0, 0. And then 2 more. All right, so that seriously wounds her as they're struggling to get him up off the ramp or off the ATV onto the ramp. Alicia's like, he's dead, I know it. We gotta get out of here. And then the shot rings out, and the bullet strikes Alicia just square in the chest, and she goes tumbling off the end. She goes tumbling off the side of the ramp, hitting the dirt underneath. They drop Giovanni, who falls back down onto the ATV. And we're gonna see if she freaks out, if she realizes what happens, or whether or not our murderer is going to get another shot. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I had to restart. Lost all my character sheets. Let's see. So we just have her do a reaction roll. See what happens. Oh, 12. All right, so she does not panic. She doesn't panic. But what does she do? To be honest, to Alicia, I think she already believes Giovanni's dead. She already knows just from handling him. And it looks like Rosemary is dead. It looks like she took a hunting rifle round to the chest and she tumbled off the side, and she is blood is just the soaking her flight suit, and she's not moving. She's not moving. If she's not dead this second, she will be. Alicia bolts back inside and immediately starts raising the ramp. She knows if she tries to rescue uh, Rosemary, she's just going to get shot. She is completely helpless. But she's not completely helpless because she knows, or does she know? Giovanni knew that the other rifle was there. Well, she's going to run over to the ATV, and she's going to peek her head inside, and she's going to see that there is a rifle in there. She's going to grab it. She knows enough. She's familiar enough with how to use them. She is a scout. She slaps the magazine in, racks around in the chamber. But she did hit the ramp to start going up, I think. Yeah, I think so. So she's got the ramps going up, and I think Luke, I think he's going to try to race. I'm going to say on a 5 or a 6, he's just going to sit and wait and see if he can get another shot. Otherwise, he's going to run to try to get into the ramp. Now, he may be too far away to actually get it. Okay, so he fetches his rifle up and he's racing. He's racing to try to get to the ramp. Um, and this is one of those things where, I really don't know how long it takes for that ramp to come up. All right, you know what? I'm going to say that thing will raise in 3 turns, or at the end of the second turn, and it's going to take die six rounds. I mean, die 6 rounds for him to get there. So essentially, if he rolls a 1 or a 2, he's going to be able to get there before the ramp goes up. Oh, oh man. All right. So either his madness gives him extra feet, or maybe he was a little closer than I was imagining. But he races. He's got that rifle going on. And what is Alicia going to do? I think Alicia, I think she's now going to wait. She's going to take cover behind the ATV that's parked inside there, still from their mission, and she's going to wait. Now, what she's hoping, obviously, is that the door will close before Luke can get inside. And she starts to grow hopeful, thinking, okay, as it's getting ready to, the ramp's off the ground high enough to where she doesn't necessarily think anyone can get in. And then Luke jumps. He jumps and he rolls through. And as soon as she sees him, she's going to shoot him. All right, so that's also going to be a dexterity roll. As he rolls and he comes up looking for his victim and pauses just for a second as he catches her slight movement as she sights in on him. Oh, oh, and her own. All right. Well, this may be the end of Luke. So we added his effect. So it's only right that we add Alicia. So that's going to be 3d6 plus 4 as she draws in. She says, "Game time's over, you son of a bitch." Boom! And the shot echoes um, through the enclosed cargo deck. Okay, so 10, 13, 14. He's going to take 14. That's going to bring that down to 0. That's going to bring him down to 2. So he's wounded. He's wounded, but he's not seriously wounded. He's knocked down. I'm going to say the round hits his shoulder, and he screams in Polish, "Bah!" And he falls back out the ramp just as the ramp closes. All right, now that we have some new injuries, just going to take another look here. All right, so as to how the injury levels work. I mean, I'm familiar with how they normally work. I'm just trying to keep it in solo. All right, so wounded, knocked over for 1 round, suffers -1 DM, so all actions until they receive first aid. All right, so he's knocked down. Let's see. When is reduced to 0. When endurance is reduced to 0, he's wounded. So he's wounded. Rosemary is incapacitated. She's knocked out for 2d6 minutes. Severely injured and bleeding out. What? I was poking around to see if Hostile had any info on stems. Nothing I found. I was just going to see if maybe it would affect the good doctor being overdosed on stems. But I think in this case probably not. So the door to the ramp closes, and Alicia, she's not sure that she knows she got him, but she thinks she just winged him, that he's probably still alive. And so what she does, she runs back up to the bridge, and as she's running to the bridge, she hears Penelope starts screaming. She hears her screams down the hallway, and Alicia, she gets the rifle ready and she charges into the bridge. What? And she looks, and Penelope is sobbing and crying, pointing at the screen where the camera is zoomed in on Luke cheerfully biting the flesh from Rosemary's face, from her throat, slashing. He's not even eating. He's just biting and tearing and smiling, and every now and then looking up with the blood down his face. Rosemary's throat has been completely slit as Alicia looks in the camera. She sees that her flight suit's been slashed open, revealing skin beneath, slashed open. All this in a very quick time. He just started cutting her up. But he has this soft, loving look on his face as he's doing it. And Alicia says, That's it. We're gone now. Get the startup going. And so she I'll go ahead and give her the X of death. As Luke, she can see from the uh she can see from the camera that Luke does have blood dripping pouring down his shoulder. So she did get him, but not before he could go over and just slash poor Rosemary to pieces. And he doesn't even seem to be noticing anything around him. He's got the knife out, the hunting rifle's next to him, and Penelope, we're gonna give her a roll to see how well she did. How well she did on her repairs. All right, where are you at, darling? Penelope. I'm gonna say that's gonna be mostly electronics since she was repairing consoles and stuff like that. Okay, so she gets a good enough roll to at least make the pilot station safe for use. What they've ended up doing, what she has ended up doing, is basically cannibalizing three of the stations that had been burned in the fire to make Alicia's station workable, to make it in perfect condition for her flying. And Alicia, she's stressed. She's trying to get out of there, and she's going to punch the engines and try to fry Luke. Let's see. Does he? He's definitely gone. Does he just sit there though? I don't think so. We'll see if he is so on a 5 or a 6. He is so enamored in the blood work and slicing off pieces of Rosemary, of tearing her flesh with his teeth, of talking to her, stroking her hair as he bites into her cheek. Because the pre-flight does take a little while to do, even though they're panicked, they want to get out of there. Some things you just gotta wait to warm up. But I'm gonna say only on a 5 or a 6 is he so distracted by his murderous activities that he doesn't notice the engines starting to spin up, starting to warm up. Nope. So he notices and he knows what's gonna happen. So he grabs the rifle and he grabs Rosemary by her hair, throws her across the back of the ATV, and goes driving off as fast as he can, leaving poor Giovanni, what's left of Giovanni, to be burned away as soon as the Cosmic Wanderer, aka the Wanda, as her engines come to life and burn away everything around them as they take off, leaving LV-610 as fast as they can. Alicia, however, she really kind of wants to kill him. Can she resist? No. she can't. That that was a social roll, a reaction roll, needed an 8 or higher to keep from doing the foolish thing that she's going to now do. As Luke is driving, speeding away, looking over his shoulder as the Wanda lifts off the planet, scorching the ground beneath her. It leans, slowly turns towards him, and races. And he can see the plasma jets from the engines tearing up the ground as it goes, getting ever closer and closer. He's going to try to get out of the way, which is going to be hard because he's kind of in the open, but he does have a vehicle. And poor Rosemary's body, torn, bloodied, open, mutilated, bouncing on the rack on the back of the ATV. I'm not even going to say he has a chance. It's all going to be her. This is all going to be Alicia. She's flying pretty low, pretty dangerous, and he's getting close to that. So I'm just going to give, and she's actually trying to burn him, kind of trying to line up. He is doing a little bit, so I'm just going to give her a -1 to her piloting roll. Oh, all right. So Luke swerves left and right, and even tries to circle around and do a quick U-turn, but Alicia's not falling for any of it. She is laser focused on the guidance, watching him, holding the yoke, expertly twisting, muttering, "You're gonna burn, you motherfucker. You're gonna burn. You're gonna burn." And she brings the Wanda to a halt right above where he is at, and she ignites the engines on full blast and incinerates Luke, incinerates Wanda, incinerates the ATV, leaving a blackened, smoking crater as the Wanda shoots up into orbit. And as she finds herself, as she makes sure that they're in the orbit, they're at the right altitude, Alicia gives herself a chance to calm down. And then she just breaks down crying. And then Penelope comes over and says, let's go. Let's just get back to Tau Ceti. I can't believe what happened. So as she starts plotting the courses, waiting for the navigation computer to work through, she starts entering the information into the mission log. They don't speak much as they make ready for the trip, and they don't say much as the hyperspace point approaches. They barely look at each other as they get ready for entrance into the hypersleep pods. And we're going to look for maybe one last little twist here on a 6 for each one. For Alicia. And for Penelope. With heavy hearts and thankful that hypersleep is dreamless, they close their capsules and enter hypersleep while the Wanda enters hyperspace And exactly what happens when they get back to Tau Ceti, who knows? But certainly the ship called Wanda is now a byword amongst the crew, amongst the crews of every corporate scout team cursed. So if you happen to be in Tau Ceti, maybe you'll find a down on their luck starship engineer or a down on their luck pilot trying to get back onto flight status. Maybe they'll tell you the sad, bloody tale of what happened on LW 610. The end. Well, that was pretty interesting. I want to I want to throw out there that I had recorded this. I had played this through already, and frankly, it had a more satisfying ending to me almost. Um, but the audio was gone. There was no audio, so I just played the session over. In that previous session, what happened is they just left, and the three ladies they didn't go out there. She didn't get stemmed out, and they didn't get taken by surprise. They saw them coming. They saw Luke dragging the body, and they just said, "That's it," and they took off. But but uh, Penelope, and this was by roles. I kind of did the same thing. I had kind of the idea from earlier, but Penelope had the virus, and she started on the way out to the hyperspace point. She started getting paranoid that if the other two lived, that she would not make it home. So she sabotaged their sleep tubes, and she was the only one that made it back. So that I thought was a little bit more satisfying, and I considered just doing that this time around too. But there is a different resolution. So, uh, but there we go. That's my first campaign, the solo campaign using Hostile Solo. I'll try not to make it too much longer, but I thought I'd share a couple thoughts. Uh, the first thing that kind of stands out is the um, it's an issue not with Hostile per se, but with kind of like with any horror um, setting. Call of Cthulhu, anything like that. It's kind of hard to have an ongoing campaign where there is some kind of cosmic horror, some kind of xenomorph, or some kind of strange alien disease every week, without it um, taking on almost a farcical sense. So, if I were to run a longer campaign, and part of this campaign was just to kind of show off and get used to Hostile Solo, um, I would definitely only put the horror elements in there from time to time. I would definitely tone them down. That way, you kind of expand it out, and like I said, it's not every week there's a new xenomorph running around eating half the crew. So, and that's not that's a genre. That's not against Hostile. And Hostile has enough information, enough background, enough meat behind it that you could easily do that, because there's a lot of regular missions where maybe you're having to deal with just actual problems and not more mundane problems, not anything that's uh, xenomorphs or crazy or cosmic horror or whatever. So that's my first comment, just in general. The second is that I really like the way Hostile Solo does the character interactions. Most of the solo RPGs that I've played, they focus on one character and their adventures, and you may have a sidekick or companion or something like that, but they're usually just treated as a narrative thing. I just got my Starforged Kickstarter. Great, love Star, but it's more along those lines, and partly, it gives you a little more narrative freedom to help your guy survive. Hostile is not like that. You have a group of people, and any one of them can be killed easily, as we as we saw some wimpy um, navigator go and murder most of the crew. Um, but I really like the idea of the oracles that are used to do the spotlights and the character interactions. As the game goes on, you build those reactions, those relationships, and the group dynamics. The way Hostile Solo does it is great. It's great. Now you could make like a first among equals kind of character, and everyone else be NPCs if you wanted to. Uh, but I think really it's best to just leave everyone, because you can switch to anybody's point of view at any given time depending on what's going on. Right? If these three guys over here doing something, and you have somebody left in engineering off by themselves doing their preventative maintenance or their updates or whatever, then you use those reaction rolls, you use those character tables to build him or her into something else. And as we saw in this one, it comes up organically. Those things fall into the story later down the line. And so that's one thing that Hostile Solo does very well. And the last point that I make is that Hostile Solo is absolutely a standalone game, but there is so much to Hostile, the universe, the setting, the information. Myself, I will not be playing just Hostile Solo anymore. When I use it, uh, especially for like exploration, I picked exploration because of all the kind of science fiction missions. I really like that. I like a good bug hunt, don't get me wrong, but the idea of landing on a planet and finding these things, and finding these mysteries, overcoming these troubles, the Hostile supplements, Explorers, and Dirt Side, I mean, they really go into a lot of detail. There's a lot more planets. There's a lot more about exploration, random encounters, things like that you can really take the checklist, the oracles from Solo, and you can just fill it to the brim with information from other Solo books, or from other Hostile books. And so my next Hostile Solo campaign will use those. It will use the character creation rules, because I like the character life path thing. I don't, I understand why you would streamline it for this, especially since you're running 8 people or 6 people who may get killed pretty quick. But I enjoy making the characters. So for me, it's no big deal. I like the tables. I like rolling to see what happens. Um, I'll be using the the gun kits, or the gun locker, the toolkit supplement, all these things that add flavor. So instead of a hunting rifle, you'll have the Zhuang PF7 or whatever it's called. So that's about it. I really enjoyed this campaign. I really enjoyed making the character interactions. Personally, I prefer to break my scene resolutions down into smaller chunks. I just find that more fun. But just like to say, excellent product, and thank you everybody who followed along and listened. I hope that you found the resolution satisfactory, or at least satisfying, or at least interesting, if if nothing else above. Now I have to get back to my other solo campaign I was running before I got enamored with Hostile Solo. Thank you all for following along, and good job, Zozer. Happy gaming.